Hi everyone, it's Leanne Boyd here on a Tuesday afternoon, and welcome to this edition of Cuppa Courage Tips. And we're doing it in the afternoon today. Normally I do it at 10:30 in the morning, but today we're going to have an afternoon cuppa together. Last week, if you watched, you may recall that I did a segment on the impact of stress in your life, particularly silent stress, the stress that you push down and keep down inside and don't let anyone see that you're feeling stressed, but you're out there with a smile on your face and hiding it all, and so the world can't see, and what effect that actually has on your body. So this week I'm going to talk about some restorative actions that you can do that will help the impact of stress on your body, and maybe even cut it out altogether, and you can stay in a calm state day in, day out. Wouldn't that be lovely? So anyway, well, let's just touch on how you can do what it takes to try and stay in a calm state for you and reduce that impact of stress on a daily basis. Okay, so number one tip that I can give you to reduce your stress levels is to practice patience, tolerance, and kindness. Not that hard, but when you're in a stress state, it's really hard because you constantly feel this anger arising and even guilt once the anger has erupted. So anyway, according to the Dalai Lama, and you know how calm the Buddhist monks are, anger is like blind energy, okay? It destroys the part of your brain that thinks objectively, and it's very hard when you're in a stress state to judge what's right and what's wrong. So when you're in an angry state, you can't see the reality of what's actually in front of you. And to use your intelligence effectively and objectively in any situation, you need to come from a state of calm. If you can imagine if you imagine a big clock face and the pendulum swings from left to right, okay? And one is to the left is anger and sadness and irritability and guilt and shame and all those things over there onto the left. And then you swing to the right and you've gone the other way and you're almost drunk with happiness and joy and elated all the time. And you really can't make an executive decision from that point either, because you're up here and you're high with the fairies. I mean, that's a great state to be in, but not good for decision making. So if you can imagine that pendulum, if you had that visualization of that pendulum kind of swinging back to the center, where you're coming from a neutral, universal state of decision making, that's where you can move through. So let's just change that, shall we? Okay, so a raised voice, if you can imagine the vibration that sends through your body, and that intention, that raised voice, regardless of its intention, right, will send that vibration throughout your body and alert your body that it could be in danger. It'll kick off the fight and flight response, stress response in your body. And, you know, I really get that. And I understand that it's hard to come from a state of calm at times if you're feeling broken or if you're under intense pressure in your life somehow. It's really hard to come from that state, and I get that. But the best thing for you to do is to stop. Just stop. And give yourself that moment to regain your thoughts. Even if you have to leave the room for a few moments, just to regain your thought. I have a tool that I use, the Peripheral Way, which is fantastic for women to reset themselves and then come back into the room and have a totally different shift of perspective on any moment that's elevated you into intense stress. But yeah, that's for the ladies that work with me. They get to know that tool, and it can bring you back to calm in about 2 minutes, easily. And something that was rating a 7 and 8 out of 10, sending you through the roof, can easily come down to a 2 and 3 in minutes. So yeah. So let's first of all, one of the big things that you can do for yourself to bring your state of calm back is to actually look at your diet. When you've got overload happening in your liver, it's really easy to fly off the handle have a short temper, short fuse, because your liver processes the emotion of anger. It's in the language, livid. So that's where you store your anger and a lot of your stress. Okay, so you need to look at your diet, because when your liver is clear, then you will have a natural state of calm come into being, and you'll be able to be more objective and rational in your decision making. So one of the ways you can tell in your physicality if your liver needs attention is if you've got this kind of roll of fat, if you like, that sits high up underneath your bra strap. That's a good sign that your liver needs attention. And also another sign can be that you're tender in your, just below that area, in your solar plexus area. If you're tender there, that area there can be, if you're sore there, it can be anxiety, it can be disappointment, it can be heartache, it can be intense stress. But that's a good sign that you need to be kinder to yourself and kinder to your liver. It also can mean that you've got gallbladder issues there as well, because even if you've had your gallbladder removed, your gallbladder your liver will take on the work of both organs. So your liver really needs extra care then. Another way you can tell if there's balance, I'm just going to stand up here, imbalance in your body. Let me stand up, hope I don't knock anything over, is here is your navel here. So if you press either side of there and you've got sore tender spots, then that is another sure way that there's an imbalance in your body somewhere. Okay, so if you go to bed, okay, and you are easily overheating at night or waking up at 2 a.m. in the morning, that's another sure sign that your liver needs attention. Yeah, and even if you try so hard not to lose your temper, but you go off, that is your liver telling you that, yeah, you need to get back to a state of calm and it needs some attention. Okay, so I'm just going to tell you a few liver loaders that you need to be aware of in your diet that will help you bring back a state of calm and reduce your stress. It's processed foods, number one. If you can't recognize something as food, your body's not going to recognize that either. So best thing to do is to become a real label reader. Okay, so have a look at the what's in the actual food that you're buying, and if there's a whole gamut of numbers there, just put it back on the shelf. Just leave it there, and your body will thank you for it. Go home and buy the ingredients to make that sauce or make that dressing or whatever, and put it together naturally, and it'll be tastier, it'll be better for you, and yes, and reduce your fat levels as well. So as I've mentioned once before in a live, if you shop around the outer circumference of your departments of your grocery store, that is where all of the better food is. It's in the center aisles is where all the processed foods sit. Okay, so go around the perimeter, around the circumference of your grocery store, and that's where you'll find the better foods. Okay, so cut down on sugar. Sugar is a sure way. Too much sugar, high sugar consumption is a really great way of adding fat to your liver. So studies have shown that having too much sugar is as damaging to your liver as consuming alcohol. So yeah, so please cut out that sugar, cut down, put in sugar alternatives like stevia, or I never use sugar actually in my home at all. I always use a pear juice concentrate or a rice malt syrup or or even honey or maple syrup. They're all sweeteners that I use instead of sugar. I hardly ever buy sugar. In fact, the only person I buy sugar for is my husband, who likes to have some in his cup of tea. So so cut down on fried foods also. White bread, rice and pasta, all those starchy carbohydrates all put a little strain on your liver. So go gluten-free if you can. There's gluten, anything containing gluten has a protein in it called gliadin, and gliadin actually can cause leaky gut. It sits in the little villi around the lining of your stomach, and then eventually will cause leaky gut and even damage the lining of your your gut. So go gluten-free as much as you can. It's way, 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 way better for you. So yeah, cut back on red meat and salt. That's another one. See if you can. I'm not completely vegetarian, but I'm, say, 4/5 of the way there. I eat meat very rarely, and my energy levels are higher when I don't eat meat. Processed grains, all those breakfast cereals and chemically sprayed fruit and vegetables, they also put a lot of tax on your liver as well. So if you can get those things out of your diet, you'll be a lot better off and you'll be calmer. You can add hydrogenated oils in there as well. They also add to your fatty liver and work towards the possibility of fatty liver disease. So restorative eating is one of the best ways of bringing down calm. So make sure you eat real food. Nature knows best. Human chemicals and the way we process food, that's not the best way. So as I've mentioned before, if you can't recognize the food in a packet, leave it on the shelf. Your body won't recognize that as food either. So double your intake of green plant foods. Have a green smoothie for breakfast or for a snack. Cut out or significantly limit your caffeine consumption. So your coffee, your caffeinated drinks, your black teas. Even if you could just trial it, cut it out completely for 4 weeks and just notice how you feel much calmer when you don't have that caffeine surging around your body. So then slowly you can bring back things like green tea or herbal tea, or dandelion root tea is one of my favorite. I don't drink coffee as a rule, and dandelion root tea is a known liver cleanser that will help you. It'll make you feel better because you're actually having something hot, particularly in winter. You want that hot drink, and then it's cleansing your liver, making you warm, and cleansing your body at the same time. So there's some alternatives. You can swap your alcohol. I know this is hard if you like to have a little drink now and then, but especially if you have that wine every night. But just try swapping it for some sparkling water with some lime or lemon juice in it. Just give your liver and yourself that maybe 4-week period where you can just get rid of all that. Sometimes when you do a little bit of a liver detox, so you might feel dreadful for a little bit, mainly because your body's just cleansing and dumping all that crap that's been hanging on to back into your system. And that's short term though, and when you get over that stage, you'll feel a lot better. You'll have more energy, you'll feel brighter, you'll feel calmer. So it's well worth the effort to just cut all those foods out and give yourself and your liver a go. Okay, so some restorative movement that you can do to reduce your stress levels is Qigong. If you haven't tried it, I suggest you go have a go at it because it's amazing. I did it for 6 months straight and I really felt calmer inside and I felt my energy levels rising. It's a beautiful thing to do, particularly in the morning at the start of the day. Restorative yoga, it's a beautiful thing to do. Also, it's very feminine and very divine in its movement. So you'll find that that's particularly good if you feel depleted in your adrenals or in your thyroid or in your pituitary. If you're having any of those problems in your body, the restorative yoga is excellent for helping you get back to calm and also restoring your energy there. So, and one of the other things you can do is meditation. Now, some people will find that hard to just switch off and meditate, but it takes practice. It's like anything. So the way you can always start is just do those slow, deep breaths at the beginning and finally bring your mind back to calm, because, we always say as women that we are multitaskers, where it's really a bit of a myth. That's when we sort of start to rise our stress levels, when we start to try and do so many things at once. The mind can actually only concentrate on one thing at a time. So with your deep breathing, if you start your deep breathing and you close your eyes and you focus only on your breath, you will find that everything else that you've been thinking about will dissipate. It may come knocking on you, knocking on your mind and go, hang on, I'm still here. And that's when you go, no, I'm just going to focus on my breath. and you can just go away, and I'm just going to stay here, focusing, breathing in and focusing, breathing out, and just watch how your stress levels come down and how much calmer you feel. You know, there's an app called Calm that you can download. There's a free version and there's a paid version. Yeah, and I have it, and it's really well worth having, and I use it from time to time. If I'm just had a huge day and I've just needed to tune down a little bit, it helps me. You know, if you can just practice stillness, and that really helps to restore calm as well. So another thing you can do is practice daily gratitudes. It's very, very hard to feel stressed when you've written down, say, up to 3 things that you're grateful for, or think about 3 things that you're grateful for every day. It's really hard to feel stressed when you're feeling grateful and thankful for things. So that's just a little practice that's a joy to do, is to just wake up and think about how grateful you are for the people or the surroundings you have, for your health, for whatever makes you feel good. Yeah, so try that. Even if you just wake up and notice all the colors around you, the colors of the sky, or the colors of what's outside of you, or, you know, the pretty color of a car going past, or someone pretty dressed. Just notice the colors around you will help you restore your calm as well, and reduce stress. So another action that I would like to touch on for you is restorative sleep. Now, restorative sleep is actually very critical for every aspect of your health. Yeah, so here's some tips to get that restorative sleep happening for you. So number 1 is avoid caffeine before bed, or alcohol. Number 2 is to don't sit in bright lights for up to 2 hours before you want to go to bed. You need to reduce that light, because it will kill off the melatonin. That's your sleep hormone if you're in brightness. So every time you rise in the morning, it pays to rise at the same time every morning, but when you rise in the morning and you open up that eyes to the light, your melatonin goes, okay? So the light's destroying it. So it's time to wake up. So if you're sitting in bright light for a couple of hours before you go to bed, that melatonin's not getting time to accumulate and build up for you to have a restful sleep. So yeah, so when the light also hits, it allows in the morning, the light will give you a serotonin surge, and that gets you going in your day. Okay, that's your happy hormone. So avoid doing work if you're in the office, or try and avoid doing work. Just sit calmly and talk amongst yourselves, or read a book, and you know, just avoid doing that work where you're engaging your brain and keeping your brain active at least 2 hours before bed. Another thing you can do is check out the dust levels in your bedroom, because that will really play havoc with your rest and your allergies. So you want to replace any old bedding. I think 10 years is the cutoff limit. You know, that's about the limit for your waste accumulation, you know, your dead body cells, any dust that's around, you know, that's all. 10 years is the limit for you and your bed. That's it. That's all you can stand. Once your bedding's out past 10 years, it's time to get something new for you to rest on, okay? So another way of getting yourself into that restorative sleep is to practice that deep breathing, at least 20 breaths before you bunk down at night, okay? This will automatically put your mind in a calm state and get your mind ready for sleep. So yeah, if you're not, when you focus on your breaths and you're not focusing on everything else, you will just drift off. Guarantee it. So another lot of restorative actions that you can take to reduce your stress is go help someone else. When you're not so focused on yourself and you're helping others, then you're going to feel better and happier in your life and not so stressed. And that includes volunteering. Go volunteer. If there's something that you aspect of your life, whether it be animal shelters or homeless people, or you know, anything in that way. Even I used to one time in my life go and sit with the children in the cerebral palsy centre and just share their space for a while and help those children get along in life in the institution they were in. that always made me feel better about myself, lowered my stress levels, and I enjoyed the company of those children as well. Cook for yourself or cook for someone you love. That's always a feel-good moment and lowers your stress. Declutter, cleanse the area where you live. Just put a smile on your face while you do it. In fact, put a smile on your face when you wake up every day. It's hard to feel stressed and sad when you're smiling. Notice, as I said, the colors around you, and just practice that radiant living. Write a list of all the things that make you feel good and all the things that you want to do, and then go tick off that list. So I hope you've enjoyed this talk. Thanks, Jenny Lou, for watching. And so if you've missed some of it, go back to the start and watch. But thank you so much for joining me for this week's Cuppa Courage tips. And I hope that all those tips that I've shared with you today will help you lower your stress levels, reduce the impact of your stress. If you need further help from me, I am a qualified naturopath, creatrix, transformologist, and reflexologist. And my whole, if you like, service is dedicated to helping you have a better life and get along in life better in the way that you want to. So everything I do is designed to help you. So please reach out to me. You can send me a PM or just drop a comment in the box and I'll get back to you. And I'm ready and willing to help you in any way that you want. So until next week, if you want me to cover something in particular that's been playing on your mind or stressing you out or playing havoc with your health or your emotions, you can also reach out and get in touch with me, and I'll help you out with that too. So until next Tuesday, have a good week, and I'll see you next Tuesday with another edition of Cuppa Courage Tips. Okay, thank you. Bye-bye.